Ceremonial puck drop on Military Appreciation Night here at Magnus Arena. The Pioneers on the road, as you mentioned, at St. Cloud State, Charlie, last weekend. This is a Denver team that didn't know what it was like to lose prior to last weekend. You go on the road, you take on the number 2 team in the country. Pioneers led in both of those games. They dropped 2 contests by 4-3 final. St. Cloud State has made a business out of rallying in games this year and taking wins late. But now you get back into it as a Pioneers team, kind of know what everything's going to be for you this season, and you get a chance to take on a big matchup here tonight and the top dog as it stands on the NCHC ladder.
Well, in many ways, it seems like the season has been a ladder for DU. That it started out with non-conference games. Then they got a conference opponent at home in Western Michigan. Had to go out on the road against St. Cloud State. That was another challenge. And then yet another challenge here this weekend. Probably the biggest challenge for David Carl and his Pioneers thus far on this young season.
Denver's young head coach celebrated a birthday recently. Happy birthday to DC, who is 5-2-1 through his first 8 games as a collegiate head coach. And on the other side, one of the most seasoned guys in the NCHC, Scott Sandelin, who is in his 19th season as the head man of this UMD program, a national champ in 2011, a national champ in 2018, and a guy who has built one heck of a strong program for the Bulldogs.
A lot of respect between these two programs, a healthy respect. I think the way Coach Sandelin runs his program and has built Minnesota Duluth is very much similar to what Coach Carl and the Pioneers look to do and emulate within the Pioneer program here at DU. It's a healthy rivalry, and there's a lot of healthy respect on both sides.
Devin Cooley in between the pipes for Denver. Pioneers top line, Jared Luco Savages, Cole Gutman, and Emilio Peterson. Top defensive pairing for Denver, Griffin Mendel and Ian Mitchell. On the other side, Riley Tufte, Peter Krieger, and Nick Swaney. The top line for UMD, Nick Wolf and Scott Perunovich, a guy to keep an eye on. 13 assists this season for the defenseman. That's a top mark in NCAA play. Very nearly an opportunity right off of the opening faceoff for Denver. Liam Finley, as we got an arm up in the air, and already a call coming here, which will go against the Pioneers in the first 15 seconds of this game, as chasing it back to bring a stop to play, Ian Mitchell. And just 21 seconds in, Brett Stapley, the NCHC's reigning Rookie of the Week, is headed to the penalty box.
And it's been a theme for Denver going to the penalty box, something DU has looked to correct and crack down on in terms of these penalties, and the officials are going to go in and take a look at it. Tom Stearns, number 8 on his sweater, one of the officials, along with Dan Dreger, number 2. And here's a play. Perunovich turns his back to the play. Stapley finishes his check. Well, it's almost Stapley and Ward simultaneously finishing their check. They call the penalty on Stapley.
Yeah, kind of surprising. Looked like it might have been Ward with a little bit more of the contact.
And then new this year, officials can go and take a look at the replay to determine whether it's a minor penalty or if it's more severe, and they opt to make the penalty a major, which either way, 21 seconds in, DU had a lot of good momentum in the offensive zone, will find themselves shorthanded.
This is definitely not a hole you want to dig against UMD either. This Bulldogs team has scored at least 1 power play goal in 8 of its 10 games so far this season. 10 power play goals in total. Those have been scored by 6 different players so far. And going back to December of 2015, when this UMD team scores more than 1 power play goal in a game, they are 18-1-2. And when you give up your first power play opportunity for that UMD side 21 seconds into a game, doesn't stack up well early on. Hopefully for Denver's sake, this will only end up being a 2-minute minor penalty, but not the way you want to get things started.
And they're having a long look at it to be sure. Perunovich appears to be okay, which is first and foremost important. Whenever you see that number, you have to hold up, and it really looked like Ward did hold up. Stapley somewhat continued through the check, but not with a ton of intent, it didn't appear. But the officials are going to call it a major.
So 21 seconds into this game, Brett Stapley is going to be sent off. And a 5-minute power play opportunity coming up for Minnesota Duluth right out of the gate tonight here in Denver.
Duluth's power play last weekend, 2 for 5 against Colorado College, and they come in to the weekend 5th in the nation overall with a 27% success rate on the power play. So it's a very good power play group for Duluth. And I was chatting with some of the folks, the radio folks and media relations folks who travel with the Bulldogs, and they said this number 1 group has really struggled. It's been their second group of 5 that has kind of carried the load offensively with the man advantage.
Cole Koepke, Justin Richards, and Parker Mackay, the captain. They're the second line for this Minnesota Duluth team. A lot of big numbers along that line. Tyler Ward, oddly enough, is going to be the one who goes into the box to serve this 5 minutes, as Brett Stapley, coming off of an NCHC Rookie of the Week performance over the weekend in St. Cloud State, is off the ice on a 5-minute major penalty, 21 seconds into this game for checking from behind. So it'll be Ward to serve it, and a big opportunity for the Bulldogs right out of the gate. Near side wing with it, Nick Swaney. Played up to the point to Krieger, into the far side of Perunovic. Perunovic is a table setter. He's the guy who's got 13 assists so far this season. That's tied for the best mark in college hockey. 14 points, most among defensemen. And now we got a call coming up against the Bulldogs.
Lucas Savages has done it this year for the Pioneers on the score sheet, and he has done it in terms of plays like this. Lucas Savages just continues to work and fight through the check, and as he gets held up, that's the reason for the penalty, which will make it a 4-on-4. And until that penalty, it was somewhat deja vu all over again for Denver, as Rezegi had a penalty, a 5-minute major last Saturday at St. Cloud, in which St. Cloud was able to capitalize 2 times on in what ended up being a 1-goal game. So a big call there to even it up at 4.
So a 4-on-4 opportunity here, and really what you do in effect is you reduce that first penalty on Brett Stapley down to almost something normal. When this wraps up, if Denver's unable to score, it'll be about 2:25 left on that major against Brett Stapley. But the Pioneers playing 4-on-4, and you really negate some of the big damage done by a 5-minute penalty right out of the gate. You give yourselves an opportunity as well, and Denver likes the way it can play 4-on-4. About 1:25 left here on this chance. Playing it back in his own zone is Nick Wolf, one of the alternate captains on this roster for Minnesota Duluth. Cohen Olszewski corrals it, plays it behind his own net to Les Lancaster. And Lancaster will bring it near side to Michael Davies.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how the Pioneers and Coach Carl run their personnel, because their extra player in the lineup is a defenseman tonight. So they lose Stapley, NCHC Rookie of the Week last weekend at St. Cloud. He is gone for the remainder of the hockey game. You can dress 19 skaters this season in college hockey, and the Pioneers have 12 forwards dressed and 7 defensemen.
And now time for Charlie's Keys to the Game, presented by your hometown Toyota stores.
Solid for 60. Pioneers, and they are young, have had some lapses in their game of late. They're going to need to play a full hockey game to beat these Bulldogs and then defend their net front. Nobody gets to the net front better than Minnesota Duluth on the offensive end of the ice surface, so DU is going to have to play strong defense in front of Cooley.
Finley plays it across far side to Slava Demin. That one's turned away. About 35 seconds to go on the power play opportunity. Played back in by Cohen Olszewski, and the Pioneers will reset. Head back for a line change. Demin out there right now. Emilio Peterson joins him, as does Ian Mitchell. Cole Gutman the fourth on the ice for the Pioneers. Cole Gutman, another good weekend last weekend on the road at St. Cloud State as well. Puck slithered across to Nick Swaney. Swaney on the top line for this UMD team, and played ahead. Nice move by Cole Gutman to get around one Bulldog, and then trapped near the far side boards by Perunovic. UMD back to full strength, and the Bulldogs playing with an extra man out there for about the next 2 minutes and 15 seconds now. So it'll, in effect, end up being about 3 minutes with the man advantage. If the Pioneers were able to kill this off, it would be about 3 minutes for UMD. 5-on-4. Luco plays it back and whipped ahead down ice by Michael Davies.
And keep in mind, it is a major penalty, so if Duluth were to score, they would remain on the power play.
One of the best teams in college hockey, as Charlie noted, a conversion rate on the power play of 27% so far this season. It's 10 for 37, the total numbers for UMD here in the 2018-2019 season. Chased down by the captain, Parker Mackay. Not a whole lot of chances so far for the Bulldogs on the power play. Inside corner with the Mike Anderson.
And DU's penalty kill comes in tonight 80% clip, which is 35th in the nation, an area that DU looks to improve upon here this weekend.
Slithered ahead to Noah Cates. Cates on a line with his brother Jackson. And it's Jackson who picks it up behind the goal. Loose out in front, and Denver slips away with it. Here comes Jared Luco-Savages streaking down the far side. Jared trying to get a step on Dylan Sandberg, the sophomore defenseman, and he'll play it back in behind the cage. Tyson McClellan blown up over there by Jackson Cates. 45 seconds to go on the early power play opportunity for the Bulldogs. Far side along the wing with it, Dylan Sandberg throws it in front, save made with the glove by Devin Cooley on an offering from Mike Anderson. And the Pioneers doing some good work on the penalty kill so far.
They are. Best chance so far for Minnesota Duluth as they're able to find Mikey Anderson high in the slot. They just throw it in front to him. Good shot off by Mikey Anderson, and Cooley's there with the glove save.
Just under 40 seconds left on the power play chance for UMD. Reigning national champs, the last two national champs in college hockey. Matching up here at Magnus Arena. These two teams will not see each other for a while after this series. It's not until the middle of February that the Pioneers and the Bulldogs will meet in Duluth. This is a big early season series in the NCHC standings. Thrown back to an open shot from Scott Perunovic that got deflected on the way toward Devin Cooley. Final seconds ticking off of this power play chance. Nick Wolf couldn't get the stick to it, or if he did, he was trying to get it down to Kepke in the corner, and the Pioneers have killed it off. So a 5-minute major on Brett Stapley basically to start this game, 21 seconds in, and Denver's back to full strength with no damage done. Ian Mitchell throws it off the far side wall. Liam Finley there to paddle it back around, and picked up on the near side by Laderoux. Here's an escape for Cole Gutman, whose shot is off of the blocker of the junior Hunter Shepard. Cole Gutman finding himself in space, and a good job by Hunter Shepard to stare that one down from the top of the slot. 6 minutes gone here in this first period, and the Pioneers trying to get the offense started with what feels like some new life. You didn't go down a goal, but you went down a man for 5 minutes, and it kind of felt like you had dug yourself a hole. And a whistle and a call coming up here with 13:51 to go in the first. We'll step aside and suss it out when we return. Scoreless through the first 6+ at Magnus Arena. Denver Pioneers and the Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs. Pioneer hockey on altitude. Pioneers headed onto the power play. Call coming up on Riley Tufte interference. And Denver with an opportunity a moment ago from Cole Gutman.
Great outlet pass by Liam Finley, and then Gutman just stops on a dime. He ended up just missing the net. And then it's Gutman again on the forecheck. he gets tangled up. The penalty's actually called on Tufte. Riley Tufte's in the box for interference. First power play of the night for Denver.
So a chance for the Pioneers who get away with that 5-minute major doing no damage. And face-off will bleed a few seconds off of this first power play opportunity for the Crimson and Gold. So Denver coming off those first 2 losses of the season last week at St. Cloud State. And we thought it was going to be a stretch of number 2, number 1, and number 3 for the Pioneers on the schedule. Providence has dropped back in the rankings. They'll be the next team up for Denver coming up next weekend. But this series, I mean, it is November. We were talking about this yesterday, Charlie, with Tavis McMillan, our conversation just previewing this weekend series. It kind of has a different feel when you're facing number 1, but by the same token, when you come to Denver, you come to play these types of games. You come to not only beat the number 1 team, you come to play as the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah, Coach McMillan talking about it just says, hey, it's another opponent. Of course, we respect them. Of course, we know what they've accomplished and how they've won 8 in a row, but we focus on our approach and how we get ready for a weekend series, no matter who the opponent is. And I can tell you, both coaches, all these power plays to start a hockey game, we're now over 7 minutes into this game where Duluth was on the power play essentially the first 5 minutes, 3 minutes because of the minor that they took. But now DU on the power play, there's been no rhythm. There's some players on the bench who haven't seen the ice yet because they don't kill penalties and they don't play on the power play. So you haven't even been on the ice with your line mates as a full 5-on-5. Even though there's no scoring, it just disrupts the bench. It disrupts the flow. Some guys have been sitting over there for a long time, still looking to get their first shift in.
Yeah, kind of a strange rhythm to this game to get things started. Not a whole lot of rhythm, I should say. Not even a strange rhythm. There hasn't been much of a rhythm. As man, oh man, blasted into the board. Colin Staub. And we've got a penalty call coming up here against Louis Rail, who put Denver's captain into the boards on the near side from behind. And yet another penalty 8 minutes into this game, this one going against the Bulldogs.
Another penalty and another reviewable penalty. Staub with his back. Again, it's not like these players are turning. And if the one on Stapley is 5 in a game, there is no question that this one is a 5 in a game. And you go back to the penalty on Stapley, he finished through that check, and any time as a player you see numbers, you have to hold up. You have to make it very difficult for these officials to make that call. If it's borderline, the onus on the officials is to lean towards the side of caution. We need to get these types of hits out of the game, and the way you get them out of the game is you call them tight. But if the play on Stapley was 5 in a game, I would be extremely surprised if this doesn't end up with the same type of a result.
Louis Rail, a member of the 3rd defensive pairing for this UMD team, a sophomore from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. And yeah, that is a much more complete delivery of that hit than what Brett Stapley did.
And Coach Carl and the Pioneers, we talked about it, how they have 7 defensemen in their lineup. Well, Coach Sandelin and the Bulldogs, they went with the extra forward. So if they end up with a penalty here, losing a defenseman, both teams kind of in the same situation in that the extra player on their bench, in the case of Coach Scott Sandelin, would be a forward when he technically would need a defenseman. And for Coach Carl, he has the extra defenseman when he needs to replace Brett Stapley, who was a forward lost for the game.
So another review here at Magnus Arena. Dan Dreger and Tom Stearns are our referees tonight. As you heard Charlie mention earlier, Dan wearing the number 2 and Tom with the number 8 on his back. And looks like we've got the call on the way. Louis Rail is in the penalty box right now. Dan Dreger goes over to explain things to the Denver bench. And Tom Stearns, the other referee, explaining things to the captains, Parker Mackay from Minnesota Duluth and Colin Staub from Denver.
And they have not opened the door for Louis Rail to leave the ice surface as if it's a 5-minute major.
That is surprising.
That is extremely surprising.
So Louis Rail remains in his seat, and the penalty box right down below us. And for the moment, Pioneers will go 5-on-3, but it goes up there as a 5-minute major, but there is no disqualification from this game for Rail. So it's 5 minutes up on the board and an extended power play opportunity coming up for Denver. The 5-on-3 will expire quickly, but on the boarding call, Denver goes from one power play chance right into another. Tufte races back onto the ice and over to the far side bench where he's replaced by Nick Swaney. So Denver on the power play now for over 4.5 minutes coming up here. Played down low and taken behind the cage by Cole Gutman. Out up to the point to Les Lancaster. Slides it across and finds Mitchell there. Back to Lancaster. Gutman in the corner. Picked off the puck there by Anderson. Battled for it behind the cage and whipped around, rattled out. Nice job by Justin Richards to track that puck down behind everybody and clear it away. Strange start to this one. Whole lot of penalties and not a whole lot of offensive chances, really. There's only 4 combined shots on goal in this game so far. We're nearly halfway done with the first period. 3 for Minnesota Duluth, 1 for Denver. The Pioneers trying to get themselves sorted on the power play. Minnesota Duluth has been so adept at killing penalties this year. Charlie talked about Denver's numbers on the penalty kill coming into today, 80.5% kill rate. Minnesota Duluth, one of the best teams on the penalty kill in addition to their success on the power play. They've got the 6th best rate of penalty kill in the country, 88.6%. They've killed off 31 of 35 opponent power play opportunities. And trying to do the same to Denver, as the Pioneers have been held without a shot so far in this chance. But here comes Ward, streaking down the slot, takes the shot. Save made, it was lost for a second, but it's somewhere under Hunter Shepard, who traps it to bring a stop to play.
Good movement there by Denver as they're able to find Tyler Ward streaking through the slot. Gets a shot off Shepard, thought he had it, and then for a moment it sprung loose and the official had sight of the puck, so he didn't blow the whistle right away, and then Shepard able to find it and hang on for the whistle.
Staub plays the face-off forward, and Ward tries to corral it behind the goal. Liam Finley's back there as well. Finley and Ward attempting to dig it out from Nick Swaney. Between his skates, comes over to the corner. A couple of players go spilling to the ice. Nick Wolf, one of the alternate captains, doing so for UMD. Slidden across, and Demon's shot never got all the way through.
Well, and what I didn't realize, Tyler, is they did give Rail a 5-minute major penalty. He did not get the game misconduct. So it is a major penalty. Pioneers are on the power play, and it was a 5-minute major that they gave Rail. I just assumed when they didn't open the door for him on the game misconduct part that it was going to be a minor penalty, but they did give him a 5-minute major, but not the game misconduct.
And Charlie, for people watching at home, what's the difference, the delineation, getting to the point where it's enough to be a major, it's not enough to be a game misconduct?
I will be interested to hear the explanation from the officials, especially those 2 hits, because in my opinion, in looking at it, that second hit was more flagrant than the initial hit on Stapley. And I'm not suggesting that Stapley shouldn't have been 5 in a game, but if that's 5 in a game, why this hit by Rail was not, would be interested to talk to the officials and get the explanation.
Yeah, I think if you're watching at home, you look at those 2 hits, juxtapose those replays, and think, well, how was one less severe than the other? But either way, the Pioneers are without the services of Brett Stapley for the rest of the night, and Louis Rail will head back out onto the ice in 1 minute and 54 seconds. And tonight's injury report presented by Centura Health.
For the first time this season, it's a clean bill of health. Philip Larson, the Pioneer freshman goaltender who has been on that report all season long, is actually dressed and on the bench and available, although really likely not available. They expect him maybe back in the next week or 2 where he will be able to play. And so certainly good news for the Pioneers and for Philip Larson, coming back much sooner than really anyone anticipated.
There was a look at the freshman goaltender from Stockholm, Sweden, last year's USHL Goaltender of the Year. And talk about a Christmas present you can't play with. I mean, if you're David Carl and the staff, you've been looking forward to having Philip Larson on your roster and on the ice, and haven't gotten a chance to see him in game action. He was out there for warm-ups. He didn't take any shots pregame today. Devin Cooley and Michael Corson, the Pioneers' backup goaltender, getting all the work in pregame. But just good to see Philip Larson out there and at least in the mode of what it feels like to be part of this roster on game day. Davies on the near side wall, throws it across and had it clank off of Ward, batted around in the air and taken away by the Bulldogs. Here comes Mackay, the captain, trying to deke his way past Slava Demon, and a whistle stops play. Mackay and Demon kind of got caught in some hand checking. Mackay grabbed Demon's jersey. Demon, I think, grabbed the arm of Mackay. And Emilio Peterson going to be sent off for Denver, so that will effectively erase the final minute and 10 seconds of this Pioneers power play opportunity. And with that, we'll step aside. Another penalty to sort out at Magnus Arena. We are scoreless, 8:10 to go in the first period at Pioneer Hockey on Altitude. Back at Magnus Arena, it's a too many men on the ice penalty that'll be served by Emilio Peterson. We were talking in the break, Charlie. Emilio kind of skated over the penalty box and threw a hand out like, what am I going in here for?
And I think this time it was legit. I mean, players always do that, right? That's always the response. What did I do? But in this case, I think Peterson truly was wondering what on earth he was being called for, because he didn't realize the Pioneers had too many players on the ice.
It's already 6 penalties called in this game with 8:10 to go in the first period. It is a scoreless game here at Magnus Arena. The top-ranked UMD Bulldogs, the reigning national champs, and the 2017 national champs, the Denver Pioneers, number 7 in the country, coming into this weekend after that sweep at the hands of St. Cloud State last weekend on the road. Denver and UMD, I mean, like you said a few minutes ago, Charlie, this is a weird situation. Is what a nice save there by Devin Cooley on an opportunity for Mikey Anderson. But you've got players on the bench who don't play on the power play and penalty kill units who have barely seen the ice. And we're over 12 minutes into this game. You made that point a few minutes ago, and it's still true, even more so now.
Yeah, it's extremely difficult. You know, I think as we watch the game and we look at the game, we think a lot of penalties, but still no scoring and very few shots. But it is important to note just that flow and the way the players have had to try and approach this game, and the coaches. Not a lot of flow, not a lot of 5-on-5, and you're right, a lot of guys who don't play power play or penalty kill, so they haven't seen much ice at all.
Krieger drops it back for Perunovic and tried to thread it back through to Krieger. Pioneers with a lost stick. That was Michael Davies, who was able to play it away from himself kicking that puck toward the corner. And Denver now down a man as UMD has returned to full strength on the expiration of that 5-minute major called on Louis Rail. So 30 seconds left on a power play chance for UMD. Special teams have been massive for these two teams, and really especially in the case of the Bulldogs. Talk about how successful that power play unit has been throughout the season. And for the Pioneers, I mean, you're nearing 14 minutes gone here in this first period. You certainly don't want to take a scoreless game as any type of win early on, but if you can limit the #1 team in the country with so many power play chances in the first period, as Denver's killed off this one as well, got to feel pretty good about that aspect of the start at least. Here comes Mackay down the far side, throws it across on the backhand, and Nick Sweeney couldn't get to it fast enough to try to tip it on goal. Les Lancaster comes out of the corner with it, threads it ahead to Emilio Peterson. Peterson was the one serving the penalty for too many men on the ice. Tried to get it to Luco, and Jared Luco Savage is a little bit out of his reach. Now Emilio's got it from behind the cage. Pinned up against the glass by Perunovic. Jacko Heikkinen able to slither loose. Feeds it back to Peterson. Emilio somehow got it in front, centered it, but nobody was home. And played out of the zone, and an icing call coming up here against the Bulldogs.
Well, and just to finish that thought about players not playing with their line mates, the Pioneers, as they try to work their way through that penalty on Peterson, they ended up with Peterson, Luco Savages, and Jacko Heikkinen on the ice. Well, Heikkinen typically doesn't play with those two guys, and so now all three of those players, can be tired. They're going to keep Heikkinen out there just to try and create some rhythm where the guys are playing with their line mates. So Heikkinen will stay on. He's joined by Brian Barrow and Colin and Liam Finley. Again, it's not even really the line that it is. And I apologize. It's Jake Derflinger on the far side on this line at the moment.
So it's a couple of members of that three line, Heikkinen and Barrow, along with Derflinger is on the fourth group for Denver offensively. What a strange first period that has been. Nearly 15 minutes gone. That's played back out to the point, collected there by Ian Mitchell. Mitchell tries to find his way into the slot, leaves it for Heikkinen. His shot never got all the way through. And taken by Mackay. Now Mackay couldn't get it out of the zone. And a nice job by Heikkinen to keep it in. But Denver in the middle of a change. Didn't have anybody there to play it. Dumped in by the Bulldogs. Slava Demon loses his footing. Played back around to the near side by Kyle Mayhew, who's out on the ice. Mayhew hasn't gotten a ton of time so far this season, but he's out there tonight as a member of the third defensive pairing for Denver. Here, Luco Savage is trying to chase it down. Mike Anderson plays it back toward a teammate, and some contact with a couple of players going down, Griffin Mendel and Noah Cates. And back out to the neutral zone. Demon dumps it for Luco. Jared looking to get it across to Peterson, couldn't do so. It was popped up into the air. Emilio's got it. Into the corner. Out to the point for Demon. His shot off the mark. Ricochets over to Griffin Mendel. And played off of the far side wall, I think by Noah Cates, and out of the zone. 16 minutes gone here in the opening period at Magnus Arena. Scoreless matchup in a strange first period of a series that oftentimes you get two teams that have the history of these two teams and know the stakes of a series like this. And gameplay can be kind of weird in a matchup like this. We saw that series against Western Michigan a couple of weeks ago, Charlie, where it just felt like the first period both nights was so much about feeling out the pace of the game. This one, there hasn't really been much of a pace to feel out. This is kind of an odd beginning for these two sides.
It has been, and I think Denver came into this game with the idea that they have to finish every check, because when they're in on the forecheck, even after the Duluth player makes the play, DU continues through with finishing that check, and that's really how the game started with the penalty on Stapley.
Scoreless with 3:15 to go in the first period. The Pioneers and the Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs. Pioneer hockey on altitude. David Carl coming off the first couple of losses of his coaching career and a chance to come back home, get right back on track. You face the number 1 team in the country after dropping a couple of games at number 2 back at Magnus Arena. Tyler Moncharlie hosts. Denver started the season 5-0-1. Go on the road to St. Cloud State. The things I think you take out of that series last weekend, Charlie, you grab leads early, you play well early on, maybe didn't finish real strong in those games, but I think you come home against UMD, you don't necessarily feel quite as bad coming off of a road sweep as maybe you would have if that was a series on the road at Miami or Western Michigan or somewhere else because of the way that series transpired.
Well, in talking with Tavis McMillan this week, he said, we're not a program that has, moral victories in terms of close games and those type of things, but he said we own up to losing a couple of games. We wanted a better result, but there's a lot of things that we can correct. And I think the fact that this young Pioneer team went on the road and, in their opinion, had a lot of things that they could do differently, do better, and still lost both of those games by just 1 goal. There were a lot of positives to take from that weekend, even though DU did drop both games.
Pioneers swept in a conference series for the first time in over a year with those defeats, both of them 4-3 the final scores. Denver 1 for 6 on the power play last weekend, and tonight power play has been a big storyline early on. Already 6 combined penalties in this game. Nobody's been able to break through. And inside of 3 minutes to go, back to even strength on both sides here, Magnus Arena. We've only had 7 combined shots so far in this period. That's one thing the UMD did really well last weekend against Colorado College, is limiting shots. The Tigers only had 15 shots in total in that Saturday game. They only had 35 for the whole weekend.
What's surprising about the shot total here tonight is the whole period essentially has been on the power play one way or the other, and yet very few shots for either team.
Dumped down into the corner, and an icing call coming up here against the Pioneers. So face off out near Devin Cooley.
Luco Savages, we talked about him drawing that penalty on the 5-minute major. What a leader he has been. Through 8 games, he has an 8-game point streak, at least 1 point in each game thus far this season. He had an assist in each game last weekend at St. Cloud State. He has led the way offensively on the scoreboard and has led the way just in terms of overall effort as well for this Pioneer team.
And you got to think that he is the UMD fan base leader in people watching on TV and saying, oh man, he's still on this team? Jared Luco Savage was a hat trick in the national championship game 2 years ago. The late penalty call coming up here against Denver.
Shocker, right? Another penalty.
7th of the period. Pioneers have already had a player sent off, Brett Stapley, with a game misconduct. 21 seconds in on a check from behind. And this time, it'll be Kyle Mayhew, the freshman, who heads off.
He's going for hooking. And to your point, Tyler, on Jared Lucas Savages, you're exactly right. I mean, one, a lot of good players don't stay around through their senior year. So oftentimes that is the case. And then when someone like a Lucas Savages does, who had a hat trick against your team a couple of years ago in the national championship game, you do get to the point where you think on some of these teams, some of these players have been there seemingly forever.
Sandberg dancing around in the corner down low, throws it up top to Anderson. Back to Sandberg. Dumps it low to Kobe Roth. There's 2 Kobe's on this roster. K-O-B-E, like Kobe Bryant, for Kobe Roth. That one tipped in front. Nice job by Devin Cooley to stare it down. It was redirected by Noah Cates, one of the freshman Cates brothers. And Devin Cooley there to make the stop.
Kind of interesting here. Scott Sandelin and the Bulldogs, they have their second group out on this power play. And again, they're loaded with talent, so it's not as though, you know, they're deprived of talent on this group, but when you have Perunovic on the other group, it's surprising.
The captain stopped, throws it across Jaakko Heikkinen, and a penalty call coming up on the Bulldogs.
And that's one of those penalties, you'll chalk that one up as a good penalty, as Heikkinen was really in all alone. Nice little pass there by Staub, and then a good back check by Jackson Cates, and he opts to hook Heikkinen to eliminate the scoring chance. Certainly Sandelin not pleased with it. When you're on the man advantage, you shouldn't be giving up a 2-on-1. But once you do give up the 2-on-1 and there is a good scoring chance, then you do have to opt to take the hooking penalty just to eliminate it.
We've had 8 combined penalties. I don't think we've seen a single penalty elapse the whole way through without another penalty being called while one team was already on the power play. A strange period. We got 1 minute remaining here in the opening stanza at Magnus Arena. The 7th-ranked Pioneers and the top-ranked UMD Bulldogs. Denver dominated this series a year ago. As Charlie told you in the open, 5 wins and 5 matchups between these two teams. 4 of them one-goal games. The only one that wasn't was because of a late empty netter. But the Bulldogs, the last team standing in college hockey a year ago. Michael Davies, as the hand goes up again.
Duluth offsides at the blue line there as they were spinning their way into the Pioneers zone. Hunter Shepard not tested a lot. We've talked about few shots in this game. Duluth with 6. The Pioneers have just 2 shots on goal. Rail didn't get the puck across the line. Forces his teammate streaking down the left side there to be a stride offside.
Face off just outside the zone. Punch back in behind Hunter Shepard. And brought up the ice by Peter Krieger. Krieger throws it near side to Anderson, and a good save made by Cooley. A dangerous rebound. No call on that takedown. Now there is a call coming up. Devin Cooley, what a great job to make the initial save. But that puck bounced right out in front of an empty net. Thankfully, nobody was there for UMD. We got a tripping call coming up here against Riley Tufte, who's into the box for the 2nd time. We'll have a 4-on-3 here for the final 10 seconds of this first period.
Shot kind of handcuffed Cooley a little bit as it came in from the outside, and then Gutman sweeps in, and then he gets his leg swept, and that's the reason for the penalty on Duluth.
Cole will be the one to take the face-off as he matches up with his same number, Justin Richards, on the other side, and tried to win it back to Les Lancaster, and instead Ian Mitchell will just chase it into the zone and kill off the final few seconds of the first. Strange opening 20 minutes at Magnus Arena. The Pioneers and the Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs combined for 9 shots, just 2 of them on the Denver side. We're headed to our first intermission. The Pioneers and the Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs all scoreless on Altitude Sports. Yeah, if you ever want to take it, let me know. We can. Your Hockey on Altitude is brought to you by the Colorado Coalition Against Domestic Violence. The movement to end relationship violence is here. Visit standupcolorado.org for more information on how you can stand up in your community. By Altitude Now. Download Altitude's new streaming app, Altitude Now. Stream your DU Pioneers live from anywhere with your iPhone or Android. Visit altitudenow.com for more information. Never miss a game. Download the app today. By Stone Log, just 45 minutes to protect your family's future and give you peace of mind. And by Freddy's, 12 Denver Metro locations. Visit www.freddysusa.com. That Altitude Now app is the real deal. There's an Avs game and a Nuggets game on there last week. Got some people tuned in on Altitude Now right now that I know taking in this matchup between the 7th-ranked Denver Pioneers and the top-ranked UMD Bulldogs back in Magnus Arena. My name is Tyler Mon alongside Charlie Host. David Carl and his team getting set to go for period number 1 after a weird period, or period number 2 rather, after a weird period number 1 that saw just 2 shots on goal from this Denver offense, an offense that came into the evening averaging 32.1 shots on goal per game. And so far, it's been kind of UMD's style game, at least in terms of that category. Bulldogs entering the night tonight, leading the NCAA in shots on goal margin, 14.5, plus 14.5 in that category. And Denver, right out of the gate, is back to full strength and playing a man up for about the next 30 seconds here to get the second period started. Jared Luko-Savage is who we talked to in between periods, drops it back for Liam Finley. And Liam does the same for Emilio Peterson. Emilio slides it across. It's back up to Ian Mitchell. with the blue line, motioning to his teammates. There's Peterson, who takes a shot and sent it just wide. And the rebound caroms out and taken away by Dylan Sandberg. Sandberg finding his way in, rifles it into the waiting glove of Devin Cooley, and we got our first stoppage of play here in period number 2.
Pioneers with an abbreviated 2-man advantage there, and the shot ricocheted around and made for an easy clear for Minnesota Duluth. The Bulldogs get a player back as a penalty just expired, so now 5-on-4 for Denver for the next minute.
Riley Tufte, the Giant, he's the one in the penalty box right now, number 27, listed at 6'6", 230 pounds. This is a pretty big roster from UMD. It's a very young roster. This is actually the smallest senior class in the program's Division I eras. That one took a weird hop off the end wall, but a whistle brings a stop to play. Just 3 seniors on this roster for UMD. Denver obviously very familiar with that. Same senior class size for the Pioneers on the other side. Olszewski to the dot for the face-off against Jackson Cates. UMD wins it and is powered. Rail was in the penalty box earlier in this game. Feels like most everybody who was on the ice at some point was in the penalty box back in that first period. Pioneers still with just about 25 seconds to work with here on this power play to open the second. But a takeaway in the neutral zone by Nick Swaney. Swaney working his way in, and a shot save made by Cooley. Devin falls down on his backside, but thankfully, puck is nowhere near him. Swaney was working there with Noah Cates, one of the brothers, and that got lost in a crowd of Pioneers, and the one to get the stick to it was Swaney. But Cooley again up to the task.
Great individual effort by Nick Swaney, shorthanded. It was a 2-on-1 chance. Puck went to the near wall. Swaney just out-muscled a few Pioneer players and ended up getting a second attempt on Cooley. Point-blank chance.
Tufte tried to slide it across to Richards. It was picked off by a Pioneer. Dumped down in behind the Denver net now. Griffin Mendel out to the far side. Had it trickle by Jake Derflinger. And shot down in toward the far side corner once more, this time by Mike Anderson. There to clean it up, Mendel sends it down as Ryan Barrow chases it behind the goal where Hunter Shepard came out to play it. And here come the Bulldogs the other direction. Moving in Billy Exel. He's one of the alternate captains on this roster. A nice play to get that puck out in front by Kobe Roth. And here come the Pioneers. Emilio Peterson streaking down the far side, slides it across, and Davies couldn't get to it. A lot of contact back in that Denver defensive zone, and Pioneer fans wanted a call they didn't get. And this puck sent out, and an icing call coming up here. Waved off as it's collected by Michael Davies behind his goaltender, the sophomore from Los Gatos, California, Devin Cooley. Well, Devin Cooley has faced a lot of shots comparatively in this game. It's now 11 unofficially up on the board for Minnesota Duluth. The Pioneers still with just 2 in this game.
Pioneer fans were looking for a penalty there a moment ago. It'll be interesting how this game is called from this point forward, since there were so many penalties early on. Lucas Savage is able to roll one there toward the front of the net.
And as an officiating crew, Charlie, does the approach change? You go through period number 1, there's 9 combined penalties in that period. Period number 2, is there somewhat of an emphasis consciously or subconsciously of let's let these guys play a little more?
When there's 9 penalties in a period and only 9 shots on goal, rarely do you have a period where you have more penalties called than shots on goal. It's just unheard of. And we were tied in that first period. I think it's only human nature, Tyler.
Yeah.
You're finally seeing 5-on-5. That maybe you let a few things go that you weren't letting go early on. But if you are a player, all you ask for is consistency. If it was a penalty in the first period, it should be a penalty in the second, and it should be a penalty with 5 minutes left to go in the third. But it will be interesting to see how these officials handle the game from here on out.
Koepke got loose for a second from behind the Pioneer net, but Denver takes it away. Barrow plays it up off the boards to Heikkinen. Backhands it on a nice pass to Barrow. Ryan steps in and rifles a shot. The save made there, turned away by Hunter Shepard. Trickles across from the far side of the near side, collected off the boards by Dylan Sandberg. who gets it out to Justin Richards, the sophomore from Columbus, Ohio. Actually, the first Ohioan in program history for this UMD roster. Kind of an interesting note. You'd think, being an upper Midwest school, that'd be a fertile recruiting ground for Minnesota Duluth. But the Columbus native breaking some ground as Liam Finley's got it in his own zone and chucks it back out to the neutral zone. Picked up there by Nick Swaney. Slid across to Tufte. It takes a shot into the gut of Devin Cooley. And Cooley hangs on.
We chatted with Tavis McMillan this week, and we talked about home ice versus road and the importance of last change. And here the coaching staff for the Pioneers, they watch who Coach Sandelin puts on the ice first and who they counter with, so you get the matchups that you want here on home ice. And Coach McMillan, he didn't shy away from that at all, saying last weekend against St. Cloud, it was a factor on a couple of plays that they use that last change to their advantage. And here the Pioneers able to see again who Coach Sandelin puts out, and then they opt to counter with their line of Tyson McClellan.
Swaney taking a shot through a screen off of that face-off. A nice save by Cooley. There's a redirection out in front by Tufte to win over the top of the goal. Tufte, the big man back there, trying to jar that puck free. And Tyson McClellan the one to do so, and Denver's able to get it out of the zone. This UMD team started the season with a loss and a tie on the road at then 13th ranked Minnesota, and since then, 8 straight victories, 2 over Michigan Tech, 2 over Maine, 2 over then number 1 Notre Dame, and back-to-back victories over Colorado College last weekend at home. Top-ranked team in the country since that sweep of the Fighting Irish. And from here, UMD will actually head into its second bye week of the season already. This is a big early season series in the NCAA. That one powered from the point. Matt Anderson couldn't put it on goal. Shot from the near side, blocked by Colin Staub. An opportunity for Jesse Jacques, who I don't think we saw on the ice at all in that first period. Battled around to the far side. Denver's able to collect it back. Slava Demin flips it across near side to Eric Fear. Olszewski had his stick held for a second, couldn't get free. Picked up by Ward on the near side wall. Big contact there as Fear spills to the ice, and a hit from Noah Cates. Demin plays it far side to Olszewski. Owen lost the handle on it. Deflected into the near side corner by Cooley. Good job by Mike Anderson to keep it in the zone. Cooley, as that one trickled into him, never gave up on that play. Good job by Denver's sophomore goaltender, and an icing call here against the Pioneers with 13:14 to go. This is a swift moving second period by comparison to that 9-penalty first period.
A look at Coach Sandelin there for the Bulldogs. And Tyler, you were talking how UMD comes in with an 8-game winning streak, 8-1-1 this season. Of course, they won their final 4 games last year en route to the national championship. So you go back to last year, that's 12-1-1 in their last 14. And we've also talked about how young this team is. So even when you go back to last year, they have a lot of freshmen on that roster last season, a lot of underclassmen who are back.
Turnover and a shot from Cole Koepke off the crossbar, ricochets up into the netting. Koepke, one of those freshmen, he's from Hermantown, Minnesota, and a draft selection of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and may have just had the best chance of the night for the Bulldogs. But it doesn't find the back of the net, and neither is anything else. Middle of the second period in Denver, scoreless between the Pioneers and the Bulldogs on altitude. Back at Magnus Arena, scoreless with just over 7 minutes gone here in the second period. Well, the Denver Pioneers and the Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs, obviously as conference foes, you're going to be familiar with each other, but these two teams have played in some huge matchups over the last couple of years. Last season, it was all Denver in this series.
All Denver, 5-0-0. 4 of those games decided by 1 goal. And again, the game in the semifinal of the NCHC Frozen Faceoff, it was a 2-goal differential, but that's only because the Pioneers added an empty net goal late, so they were all close. Pioneers took all 5 last year, but Duluth took the one that really mattered, which is the last game of the season, as they beat Notre Dame 2-1 for their second national championship, both under head coach Scott Sandelin. Bulldogs won it in 2011. They beat Michigan 3-2 in overtime for their first national championship in program history, and then last season a 2-1 victory over Notre Dame.
Shot and a save made there by Cooley on an attempt from Mike Anderson off the far side wing. Sandberg from the point. His shot deflected toward the corner. Griffin Mendel's over there to play it. Scott Sandelin, the reigning USCHO.com National Coach of the Year from last season. Since 2014-2015, he's got a 101, 56, and 19 record. That's a .628 winning percentage for this UMD program. This team has made 4 straight NCAA tournaments. That's a program record in the streak, as Tufte was alone for a second on the near side and couldn't cleanly gather that puck in. Les Lancaster there to pursue him into the corner. Out to the far side, Jaakko Heikkinen brings it up the wing, drops it back. Davies down into the corner, had a poke checked away by Nick Sweeney. Gets it out to Heikkinen, who takes a shot off of the blocker of Shepard and up into the netting. Well, Pioneer fans, you can download Altitude's new streaming app, Altitude Now, and stream your Denver Pioneers live from anywhere with your iPhone or Android. Visit AltitudeNow.com for more information. Never miss a game. Download the Altitude Now app today.
Koen Olszewski taking this face-off for Denver. He really has been centering this line in place of Brett Stapley. Again, if you're just joining us, Brett Stapley for the Pioneers. 5-minute major miss and a game misconduct in the first period. He normally would center this line with Finley and Ward. Olszewski, the center in his place.
Good job by Cooley to shut off the near side post on that shot. This one got all the way through on a direct line. I think Denver was kind of anticipating somebody to get a stick or something in the way and redirect that, but Cooley stares it right down straight on and makes the stop. Ward taken down in the neutral zone, and a call coming up here. Bulldogs freshman Tanner Latteru really frustrated when that whistle blew, kind of threw his head back. Maybe as much as anything at the fact that we've actually had some game flow over the first 9 minutes this period. We'll get a stop here for the penalty.
He ends up going down low on Tyler Ward, really just takes his legs out from underneath him. Reason for the tripping call. DU will go on the man advantage.
Pioneers have had 4 power play opportunities that have netted them 1 shot on goal.
Well, and so often, Tyler, we talk about these power plays and generating momentum, trying to gain momentum in the hockey game, whether you score or not. Obviously, if you score, you're generating momentum, but if you don't score, make sure you're getting some good looks, some good scoring chances. When you only have 1 shot in 4 attempts, you haven't been generating a whole lot of momentum your way when you've had that man advantage.
Pioneers right now, just 5 shots in total in this game. We're through nearly 30 minutes of gameplay here at Magnus Arena. Denver trying to figure out some formula to spring this offense free. Peterson, here's center ice. It's dribbled back into the Denver zone, and Liam Finley plays it to Gerald Luco Savages. Ian Mitchell crosses over the blue line to Finley on the near side. Finley across to Peterson, and Peterson plays it off the wall. Emilio back through to Finley. Up top, one time for Mitchell, he scores on the blue line! There's your some momentum on the second goal of the season for the sophomore alternate captain.
It'll be interesting to see the traffic in front of the Bulldogs goaltender. It's Jared Lucas Savage's. It's a great shot from the point. It's a great setup by Liam Finley, but you can tell Hunter Shepard never sees the puck. Gutman is moving in front, but Lucas Savage's is planted there, taking away the eyes of the goaltender, and that allows that shot from Mitchell as he puts it upstairs to get behind Shepard for the 1-0 lead. Good puck movement by Denver. They go side to side with it. Finley is able to find Mitchell, who one-times it from the blue line, and he's able to go top shelf. It's a great shot. But the key to the goal is the traffic that is set up in front of Shepard because the goaltender never saw it.
Liam Finley and Emilio Peterson will get credited for assists on that one. So Denver now 1 for 5 on the power play, and immediately a turnover in the defensive zone by the Pioneers, but it doesn't do any damage as it's poked away from Tanner Latteru. So Ian Mitchell, goal number 2. Derflinger looked like he was going to spring free for a second. Played ahead by the goaltender Hunter Shepard.
Denver is trying to fly. As soon as they see a turnover and think they have possession, their forwards are flying out of the zone looking for that stretch pass.
Derflinger wheels it around to Finley. Liam around the back of the net, throws it back in front. Tyson McClellan, I don't know if he ever got a shot away, and it's held down by Shepard. And a little mix-up in the corner will send us to a timeout. 9:36 to go in the second period of Magnus Arena. Pioneers break through with a 1-0 lead over Minnesota Duluth on Altitude Sports. Pioneers sophomore from Calahoo, Alberta, Ian Mitchell getting Denver on the board midway through the second period. Finally, somebody breaks through.
For Mitchell, it's his second goal of the season, second power play goal. And again, focus in front of Shepard. Jared Lucas Savage's for the Pioneers, right on top of that blue paint, providing the screen. And I don't think Shepard ever saw the shot.
Kind of had to figure it's a goal against Minnesota Duluth. Jared Lucas Savages is going to be involved somehow. So Luco the one to set the screen.
And it's such an important play where, again, he's not on the score sheet, right? It reads Finley and Emilio Peterson on the assists. It's one of those plays in hockey where Lucas Savages, he deserves a point because it's his screen that creates the goal.
Little wrister that didn't get through off of the stick of Colin Staub. Tufty's got it on the near side and plays it out of his own zone. It's a strange game from time to time. Pioneers being outshot 17-7 right now, but they've got the game's only goal. Devin Cooley has been fantastic in between the pipes with Denver. Michael Davies a nice job to avoid the pressure from Riley Tufty in the far side corner, and he'll settle things down behind his own goal. Davies brings it out. He's got Barrow in front of him and hands it up to Ryan. Across the blue line, poked away from the sophomore from Alberta. And down the near side, Swaney throws it in. I think he might have gotten a block or two to redirect it into the glass. Colin Staub gets it out of the zone. Perunovic, been quiet so far tonight, but he throws this one across. Chance briefly for Mackay. He was shut off heading toward the far side post, and it's back out to Perunovic at the point. Perunovic dances in. The defenseman who has been an assist machine so far this season sophomore out of Hibbing, Minnesota. That puck disappeared, had a lot of people looking different directions, and it's tracked down to the near side corner by Perunovic. Lines one into the hand of Justin Richards. Now to the near side, Perunovic collects it back. Far side, shot on the way and wide from Dylan Sandberg. And Denver able to get it out of the zone. 12 minutes gone here in the second period. Feed in front from the slot, a shot by Jacques. Devin Cooley gets the right pad to it. Mackay slow to get up from the corner. And Denver will dump it in and head for a line change. Quickly through the neutral zone. Billy Exel, one of the few seniors on this roster, couldn't get it back to Mike Anderson. Now Anderson's got it in his own zone, slides it across to Sandberg. Paddled ahead to Jacques. Jesse Jacques from Hermantown, Minnesota. Part of the really talented freshman class that Charlie talked about a while ago for UMD. That one thrown through, redirected by Exel. There's a shot that never got through on the rebound attempt from Kobe Roth, and Denver is able to get it out of the zone. What a great job by Cohen Olszewski. Kobe Roth had a golden opportunity and just never got the stick to it.
Both teams playing solid defense here in the second period. We talk about hockey before Thanksgiving. A lot of teams still developing their systems, players getting familiar with one another, but both teams 5-on-5 playing solid defensive hockey.
Well, there's been a lot of scoring for these two teams this season. 4 of the top 7 goal scorers in NCHC play coming from these programs.
Liam Finley has an assist tonight, and this is numbers coming into tonight's game. Finley with that assist on the first goal, but he's racked up 7 goals himself. Lucas Savages, we've talked about at least a point in every game. And Duluth is a very balanced team. Their top 3 lines are almost identical in terms of goal production. They have one line with 10 goals. The other 2 lines have 9 goals apiece. So through their front 9 forwards, Minnesota Duluth can generate offense from just about any one of them.
Derflinger backhanded that right off of the right leg of Hunter Shepard. And Barrow looking to feed it across to Jake Derflinger. Couldn't. Now an opportunity for the Bulldogs. Dinking in, a save made by Devin Cooley on Kobe Bender's chance. And he hangs on in the crease. Kobe Bender all alone and was trying to lift that puck and never did.
Pioneer defender just gets tangled up a bit, tries to make the poke check, unable to do so. Allowed Bender to go in uncontested, and Cooley does a great job holding his ground, making Bender make the move first, and able to get that left pad out to make the save.
And initially, I thought Bender was trying to get that puck up over the left pad. I think he was actually trying to slide it under. Sort of angled the head of that stick down as he came in on that last move. But Devin Cooley up to the challenge once more. That is save number 20 for the Pioneer sophomore from Los Gatos, California. On stop, very newly. Able to take advantage of a turnover by Mike Anderson. Anderson slips away with the puck. 20-7, UMD out shooting Denver tonight. But the Pioneers have the game's only goal. Ian Mitchell paddles it away from the far side boards. Rico Savages takes a hit at center ice. He'll head off. And Griffin Mendel gets caught tripping up Nick Swaney. Swaney would have been pretty much all alone headed in toward Devin Cooley if not for that contact, but it's going to cost Griffin and the Pioneers.
We chatted with Tavis McMillan about the penalties and the Pioneers taking a lot of penalties, and he commented about NCHC play and as the season goes along how players move faster, puck moves faster, everyone's more talented, more efficient, and he said in many ways our guys are still learning how to catch up to the speed of the game. And that penalty there by Griffin Mendel, somewhat an example of that. A quick pass, Duluth player gets just a step on him, and you end up having to stick out your stick to trip him up, and that causes the penalty. And even Jared Lucas-Savages, between periods in the interview, mentioned how many penalties are stick related, and a lot of that has to do with just quality of opponents, speed of the game, and you get behind a step, and there's hooking and tripping and all of those type of penalties that come into play.
Les Lancaster, the one to whistle it out of the zone for Denver, as UMD heads back to regroup. Krieger brings it into the neutral zone, fires it across for Sweeney. Off of the far side boards, Tufte's got it over there, pursued by Derflinger, and it trickles out of the zone as Scott Perunovic was unable to keep it in. Perunovic, Charlie noted in the open, as Mackay's got it on the near side. The captain walks his way in, feeds it back for Sweeney, save made by Cooley. What a job by Devin Cooley tonight. That is save number 21. For the Pioneers, Les Lancaster trying to clear it out. He rifles it over the glass.
21 saves, and the last two have been exceptional. One on a breakaway. Sweeney there gets a great shot off. He tries to go blocker side, places it right where he wants to, and Cooley's able to get out enough to contest it and cut down the angle and get his blocker on it to keep it out of the net.
Jackson Cates trying to win it back to Mike Anderson. Poked it out of the zone. Minute 10 to go on this power play chance for UMD. The Bulldogs last week 2 for 5 on the power play through 2 games against Colorado College. They've already had 3 power play opportunities here tonight. 0 for 3 with 4 shots through their first 3. Anderson from the blue line. Save made by Cooley and hangs on again. One thing that's going to be interesting, Charlie, as this season progresses, Philip Larson dressed tonight. We talked about him earlier on in the broadcast, the freshman from Stockholm who came in with such a pedigree. And this is Devin Cooley's team right now. Devin Cooley got the start. It was a health issue for Philip Larson, the lower body injury to start this season. You kind of wonder if Devin Cooley's motivated a little bit by the fact that everybody's healthy. Got to keep a stranglehold on this job, and he's been one of the best goaltenders in all of college hockey so far this season, so it's not to say that there's some kind of controversy, but just the fact that you sort of know what the situation may have been if Philip Larson was healthy. If you're Devin Cooley, I think you start gripping that stick and saying there's a reason why I'm here in the way I've been so far this season.
And he certainly earned his playing time, but if you look back at the history of that position in this program, the number of 1-2 tandems that have split time and done so successfully, it's numerous. The amount of 1-2 combos that pushed each other to be better, and it may end up being that same type of a scenario here between Cooley and Philip Larson.
Scary second there. Eric Fear was trying to get his stick to that puck, very nearly tapped it by Cooley on this shot from Jackson Cates. But Cools has been fantastic tonight. You see the nickname on the lower portion of that mask. 23 saves. That one rattled off the glass and back down the ice by Ian Mitchell. Less than half a minute to go on this power play chance. Jaakko Heikkinen fell down at center ice but gets back to his feet. The captain, Mackay, slides it across. There's a one-time opportunity that got redirected off of a skate. It was a shot from Peter Krieger. Perunovic has got it. Flips it across to Krieger again. Back to Perunovic. Drives it from the top of the slot. Knocked down by Heikkinen, and a great job by Jaakko to keep it close. And he's the one to clear it out to kill off the final few seconds of the penalty.
Huge block there by Heikkinen up top, and then as you described it, Tyler, the ability to not only block the shot, but have the wherewithal to find the puck and clear the zone at the same time. Great individual effort there by Heikkinen.
3 shots on that power play chance for UMD. They had 4 shots in total through their first 3 power play opportunities. But Denver still buckling down on the power play opportunities for UMD, and a chance for Luco. But the door closed quickly. Hunter Shepard with a terrific save as he slides the left pad across. And with 2:50 to go in the second period, we are locked in a good one. Pioneers and the Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs, 2 teams that have each won a national championship in the last 2 years, and playing like teams that know how many times they might see each other going forward this season.
Well, it's almost like Hunter Shepard says to those 2 saves by Devin Cooley on one end, you make 2 saves on one end, I'll show you and make you a save on this end. That was an absolute brilliant stop by Shepard as he's able to get his left leg pad out to keep that puck out of the net on the point-blank chance by Luco Savages.
Cole Gutman will take the face-off for Denver. Gutman going against Peter Krieger. Luco and Louis Rail started in from the circle a little early. Emilio Peterson will take it in place of Gutman. Emilio pokes it to the near side to Luco Savages. Jared behind the net. Plays it off the wall to himself and out to Emilio, far side corner. Luco's got it back there, pinned up against the glass by Scott Perunovich. Puck trapped behind a skate. I think it was Luco Savages over there, and now it's out on the stick of Billy Exel. Exel loses his footing, falls down between the benches, and now a chance here for Emilio. Gets it off of his skate and couldn't play it back cleanly to Cole Gutman. Emilio Peterson, his ability to stop on a dime and change direction and play the puck wherever it is, he is unbelievable. And very nearly put that on a tee for Cole Gutman in front of the junior Hunter Shepard. Just over 2 minutes to go at Magnus Arena. It's the Pioneers 1 and the Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs nothing. Second period action on Altitude. Pioneers with a 1-0 lead over Minnesota Duluth back at Magnus Arena. Tyler Mon, Charlie host. It's been a free-flowing second period by comparison to the first. Denver with the power play goal. Cole Gutman factoring in just a moment ago, almost had a scoring opportunity of his own.
Our Panorama player profile tonight, Cole Gutman, the freshman out of LA. 9 points entering tonight in 8 games. He's added an assist here tonight. Check that. He did not. I apologize. Finley and Peterson with the assist. So he has 9 points in 9 games so far on this young season, but he has been extremely impressive. He had 3 goals last weekend at St. Cloud State. A big weekend for Cole Gutman offensively.
Owen Olszewski trying to chase this puck down to the corner. He gets there ahead of the Bulldog. It was Dylan Sandberg. And Gutman, talk about a freshman with some promise. He's already got an NCAA Rookie of the Week honor under his belt and could have gotten another one from this past weekend. Charlie noted a terrific series for Cole at St. Cloud State. It goes to his teammate, Brett Stapley. Unfortunately for the Pioneers, Denver's been without the services of Brett Stapley since 21 seconds into this game. As man, oh man, that puck very nearly found Parker Mackay right in front of Devin Cooley. But Devin kicked it away with the right pad. Stapley sent off for a game misconduct on a check from behind at the 19:39 mark, just 21 seconds in to the first period. There from the far side, nice job by a couple of Pioneers to pinch off the route of Justin Richards, who was there near the post on the far side. And it's back to the goal and never found the puck. From the point, Wolf's shot collected there by Cooley. Devin thought it was in his core, and that actually dropped down behind his pads. And thankfully, the whistle came.
It's one of those saves where the save is impressive. It was behind him momentarily, but the fact that he's able to hang on and get a whistle was absolutely critical because the Pioneer players were absolutely exhausted on the ice. They needed a line change in the worst way, and you had a full minute left in the period. That was an important face-off so DU could get some fresh bodies on the ice.
Les Lancaster rattles it off the wall to clear the zone. 45 seconds left here in period number 2. Peterson plays it back to Gutman. Cole couldn't keep it in. And here comes Tufte, along with a teammate. That was Peter Krieger. Neither one could get a handle on the puck. Matt Anderson's got it near side. Anderson slides it to Swaney. Played off the wall. Michael Davies collects it. Now Luco out in the neutral zone, pinned up against the wall and held there by Matt Anderson. Turnover and a shot that sails high off of the stick of Emilio Peterson. 15 seconds to go here in the second period. Trapped down near the blue line on the near side. Finally trickles free. Les Lancaster and Peter Krieger fighting for it. And played back in to a patient Michael Davies. He just flips it ahead to run out the clock on the second period. Pioneers have yet to break double digits in shots in this game, being outshot 25-8 through 40 minutes. But Denver's got the lead. After 2 periods at Magnus Arena, the 7th-ranked Pioneers won, and the top-ranked Bulldogs nothing on Altitude Sports.
Welcome back to the second intermission. Please be.
Pioneer Hockey on Altitude is brought to you by Panorama Sports Institute. Performance for sport, performance for life. By the Colorado Coalition Against Domestic Violence. The movement to end relationship violence is here. Visit standupcolorado.org for more information on how you can stand up in your community. And by Stone Law, just 45 minutes to protect your family's future and give you peace of mind. Well, if there's one thing that the UMD Bulldogs have done all season long, it's out-muscle opponents in the second period. UMD has outscored opponents 20-7 in the second period this year. They outshot the Pioneers 18-6 in the second period tonight. But the only thing that matters right now, it's Denver 1 and Minnesota Duluth nothing as we start the third here at Magnus Arena. Tyler Mon, Charlie Host. Pioneers the lone goal in this game coming from Ian Mitchell last period. Power play goal at the 9:49 mark. Assists to Liam Finley and Emilio Peterson. That has been all. It has been an interesting game tonight as a shot deflects up into the net off the stick of Colin Staub. And if you're Denver, there's a lot of things to improve upon. Obviously tonight, Charlie, you've only got 8 shots on goal, but your goaltender is doing a tremendous job on the north side of the ice as of right now for this third period. Devin Cooley, he's made 25 saves. There's a lot of good things you can take away from the first couple of periods as well.
And one of our keys to the game was to defend the net front for the Pioneers. And not only they're being outshot by a wide margin, 25-8, but the shots in close are 15-4 in favor of Duluth. Duluth gets to the net very well, and they've had some point-blank chances here tonight. So far, Devin Cooley's been up to the task.
Minnesota Duluth, a team coming off of its second national championship in 8 years. Keep in mind, they have won 8 straight entering tonight. And a team that has played exceedingly well in 1-goal games as of late as well. This team has won its last 7 1-goal games going back to the first round of the NCAA tournament a year ago. But they trail by a goal here tonight. About a minute 30 gone here in period number 3. Denver is able to corral it behind the goal. Michael Davies is back there with it. Flips it up ahead to Liam Finley. Jared Luco Savage is the one to punch it into the zone briefly, and it's back out to Slava Demon. Eric Fear rifles it down the far side. Slips in behind Hunter Shepard. Finley to play it on the near side. Olaszewski got to it on a weird bounce off of the end wall. Far side, some contact there between Matt Anderson, Minnesota Duluth. Punched into the wall by Tyler Ward. And now Ward with some big contact down on this side as that puck trickled free off to the blocker side of Devin Cooley, but wasn't on target. Back into the defensive end for the Bulldogs. Scott Perunovich collects it. And plays it up ahead to Exel. Jacques down the near side. Tried to bounce it off the boards to himself. Gets in behind Demon. Kobe Roth behind the goal. Looking to center. Couldn't find it past Mayhew as it deflected behind the goal. Slid across to the near side. Perunovic throws it in down low. Colin Staub, the one to track it down to the corner. Bangs it off the glass and out of the zone.
We talked a bit with Tavis McMillan this week just about line combinations. Obviously, Brett Stapley being removed from the game for Denver has made their line combinations, all jumbled up here tonight, but they are getting more comfortable with their groupings.
Talked before this long stretch of time without Brett Stapley, I guess as it started, that the Pioneers dressed an extra defenseman tonight. The extra skater for Denver coming on that side of the attack is Emilio Peterson. Almost slipped free down the near side, but that's presented some challenges as well with Stapley out, since the first penalty of a penalty-riddled first period. 9 combined penalties in that first. Mike Anderson slips it into the slot. Koepke couldn't get the stick to it. It dribbled over to Sandberg, whose shot was offline. Anderson, top of the circle. Steps his way down in toward the corner. Looking to center. Never did so. Pioneer falls down behind the cage. That's Luco Savage's. Now it's out to the far side and on the stick of Koepke. Throws it across the center of the slot. Nobody was home for UMD, and Cole Gutman will take it the other direction for the Pioneers.
One of the things Pioneers try to do there defensively is layer, forcing the Duluth player, if he gets past one guy, that there's a second wave of defense, maybe even a third wave of defense that Duluth player is going to have to go through to try and get in front and get a good look at Devin Cooley.
The big guy Riley Tufte had it poked off of his stick in the corner. Peter Krieger there to pick it up. Krieger sends it across. There's a shot right on, the save made by the left pad of Cooley. A look for Louis Rail, and I don't know if Cooley saw that on the way in, but had the pad positioned perfectly and made the save anyway. Here's Swaney. Swaney's shot off the blocker. Into the corner, picked up over there by Krieger, who was the one to feed Swaney in the near side circle. Trapped up against the wall over on the far side. Slip back out to Anderson. Matt Anderson plays it to Rail, and Rail trying to slide it across to Peter Krieger. Had it taken away by Denver.
Duluth starting to buzz here a little bit, and you can see they can really roll 3 and 4 lines 5-on-5. A lot of talent, especially up front. They're starting to get their spacing and their timing and their passing down, creating some good looks in the offensive zone.
Maybe a chance here for Denver. Kyle Mayhew out near the blue line, unable to keep it in. Jaakko Heikkinen was back there and moving with the puck alone, and looked like maybe he was going to be able to set something up and couldn't do so. I mean, we're over 5 minutes into the third period. Denver has 8 shots on goal in total in this game. And the Pioneers came into tonight averaging 32.1 shots on goal per game. Colin Staub goes down at about the blue line. That puck was thrown in. But 14:15 to go in the third. This is not anything that we've seen from this Denver offense this season. We'll talk about that more as the third period rolls along. 14:15 to go in the third period. Pioneers are the only goal so far in this one, out in front of number 1 UMD. 1-0 on Altitude Sports. Back at Magnus Arena, a face-off coming up just outside the Denver defensive zone. David Carl and his offense looking for some solutions, at least in terms of being able to get some pucks toward the net. Hunter Shepard has not had to do a whole lot of work, but there you see some good numbers, some encouraging numbers for the Pioneers when things go as they have gone tonight. When Denver scores first, a good record. When you lead after two, a very good record.
One of those things, that first goal of the game, always key. Pioneers got it last weekend. They ended up dropping both of those games, but in general, and especially here on home ice, when you can get that first goal and play from an area of strength, typically it leads to good things in terms of the end result as well.
Talk about success leading after two periods. Thankfully, Denver is not on the flip side of that as the situation tonight, because UMD, since March 13th, 2015, a 4-3 loss at Denver, the Bulldogs are 62-0-3 when leading after two periods. Tonight they find themselves on the wrong end of a 1-0 score. As that puck trickles free just in front of Hunter Shepard, and a whistle from the backside official that stops play with 13:54 to go.
Good work by Jared Lucas Savages. He ends up down low and just forces that puck toward the front of the net and almost broke loose, where McClellan and Derflinger were able to get a look at it. Lucas Savages essentially double shifting here. He's the winger where Olszewski typically would be on that line with McClellan and Derflinger.
Kepke throws it across, and Justin Richards was barely offsides. That is a break for Denver as Richards was flying into the zone.
And it was seemingly a late whistle.
Yeah.
Richards had the puck, crossed the blue line, got to the top of the circle, let the shot go, and it almost felt like real time. That's about when we heard the whistle.
Richards will be the one to take the face-off against Koen Olszewski, and it's poked to a Pioneer. Michael Davies plays it back to Les Lancaster. Cohen takes a shot from in between a couple of Bulldogs. Somehow got that puck on his stick in space just briefly. A save made by Hunter Shepard. That's just the 10th save of the night, just the 10th shot of the night, I should say. 9th save of the night for Hunter Shepard.
Sneaky little shot too. Olszewski really quick to get that puck on his stick and let it fly. He's done a nice job centering that line with Finley and Ward. Got a good shot off there. And you're right, when you have 10 shots on goal, or 9 at that point, any shot is a good shot. And Olszewski able to get that one off quickly.
From your vantage point, Charlie, I mean, we haven't seen a game like this season, which Denver's offense has been not just limited scoring-wise, but limited in terms of so few opportunities. What is UMD doing successfully defensively? 10 shots on goal by almost midway through the third period is absurd for this offense.
They push you inside out very well. They allow no odd man rushes. The Pioneers have had very few of those. And they give you no time and space. As soon as the puck is on a Pioneer stick, within 2 to 3 feet, and if you count 1/1000 of a second, there will be a Bulldog player there to contest it.
Luco springs free. Trying to drag that puck in front, flies over the top of the goaltender Shepard, and a penalty call coming up here. I think it's going to be a trip on Scott Perunovic.
They're going to call Lucas Savages, and the only thing I can think of is goaltender interference, possibly. So Lucas Savages doing exactly what you teach him to do. And I tell you, and I'm all about protecting goalies, but he's not intentionally plowing into Shepard. He hops around him, essentially.
Thought maybe Perunovic had pulled the foot out from Jared Lucas Savages, and instead Denver's senior into the box, and a golden chance here for the Bulldogs. Whole lot of power play opportunities for UMD back in that first period. None of them have been fruitful so far. A shot that Cooley's able to keep away from the far side post, and it's on the stick of Jaakko Heikkinen as he brings it out of the zone and dumps it down in.
Goaltender interference, in fact, the call on Luco Savages, so Pioneers shorthanded.
UMD 0 for 4 tonight on the power play with 7 shots. That one's kept in, slides into Cooley, who paddles it aside to Michael Davies, and Davies is able to get it out.
Neat exchange there between Cooley and the Pioneer defender, something they've worked a lot on. Very calm was Cooley there, and it turns into a complete clear and forces Duluth to go the full 200 feet to get the puck.
Nearly 60 seconds killed off of this penalty. Ian Mitchell trying to pin the puck up against the boards, and that's somehow flipped up and out of the zone. Great job by Tyson McClellan over there in the corner.
Well, and again, it's a bit surprising, but those who follow the Duluth team closely have said this number 1 unit has struggled a bit on the man advantage.
Rebound deflects right to Swaney. Great save made by Cooley. The initial shot came from the captain, Mackay, and it's kept in here by Perunovic. Slid back to him, the defenseman from the blue line. NCAA's leading points man for a defenseman. Swaney, another chance. Shot off of the pad of Cooley, who had the near side post shut off. Rebound, Mackay now out. Slides it to Perunovic across and knocked away. A great job by Griffin Mendel to see that play as it developed, and it never got through to Tufte. Now a chance flying down the far side for Staub, who throws it. And with the stick flying away from him, Hunter Shepard is able to trap that puck and bring a stop to play. 3 shots on the power play chance for UMD, and 1 second remains before it's killed off again by the Pioneers. Colin Staub on the wraparound almost slid it past that outstretched right foot.
What a fun sequence of hockey to watch, and I say that because it's just good hockey on both ends. Duluth, a couple of great setups, and they've ended up on Swaney's stick for a one-timer. Cooley with a huge save, and then late on the end of a shift, the Pioneer captain, Colin Staub, just lugging the puck up the ice and having a great wraparound that nearly resulted in a goal.
Jared Luco Savage is back out on the ice for Denver. So again, coming into tonight, the 5th best power play unit in NCAA play belonged to this UMD Bulldogs team. A 27% conversion rate. They're now 0 for 5 tonight. Luco takes the shot and sprayed it just wide. And the rebound Karams all the way out and in behind Devin Cooley down the ice. 10 minutes gone in the 3rd period. Pioneers have started to pour a little bit more on offensively. Denver had just 8 shots through the first 2 periods of this game. They've got 4 through the first half of this 3rd period. So that's a little encouraging, but being outshot 31-12 in this game. Dump down in, Tufte chasing it there. Griffin Mendel gets to it first. Mendel plays it back to Mitchell. Ahead through Liam Finley. And now chased into the offensive zone, Olaszewski. Down low for Ward. Tyler Ward circling around. Poked off at his stick. A nice job by Mike Anderson to free it up for Swaney, but then it's thrown from the point and just offline. 9:15 to go. Sandberg lost his footing, taken away there by Les Lancaster, who sends it back out to the neutral zone where Roth picks it up and slides it across to Perunovic. Jacques lost it. Derflinger, a little bit of a mix-up there with Davies, but a nice job by Davies to spin around and keep that puck close by, and he hammers it down into the offensive end. Slava Demon's got it. And Denver was offsides. Tyson McClellan. Pioneers will chase their way back out of the zone as Jesse Jacques brings it out for UMD. Jacques, the freshman, backhanding it off the wall, played around toward the far side. Nick Wolf, one of the alternate captains. Now it springs free, loose out in front. Cooley made the first save on Roth's chance, still loose, and somehow squirts away to the far side corner. Now out up top, Perunovic, nearing the top of the slot, throws it high. Rebound Karams to Exel. Devin Cooley doesn't have a stick. It's lost out in front of him. Puck once more behind the cage. Slava Demon back there fighting for it. Colin Staub pokes it to the corner. And Staub is the one to take it away. Colin gets blown up in the corner by Nick Wolf. No call there. But he's able to get it out of the zone, and Denver gets a much-needed line change. Mitchell down in the corner, traps it there with Noah Cates. Over to the far side, paddled away by Cole Gutman. Emilio Peterson now with it. And Peterson slides it in front of his goaltender to Ian Mitchell, who plays it away and up off of the video board. And with 7:34 to go, what a wall Devin Cooley has been tonight. Look at this sequence.
Duluth was able to slide in behind. That was Kobe Roth. And that started the whole sequence. Cooley ends up losing his stick. Pioneers did a good job of just staying down in front of Cooley and weathering the storm.
Unbelievable night for Devin Cooley. Denver hanging on right now, 1-0 lead over UMD. Third period for Magnus Arena on Altitude Sports. I got an inkling if things hold the way they are, who our player of the game might be tonight. That dude has been a monster.
Minnesota Duluth goes to the net better than any team in the country. That's what Tavis McMillan told us this week when we chatted with him. And Exhibit A in this sequence. And then that late hit down in the corner as Nick Wolf went up high on Colin Staub. Staub appears to be okay, and there was no call.
Devin Cooley, 33 saves so far tonight for Denver. Pioneers being outshot by 21, a UMD team that came in with the best shots on goal margin in the country, plus 14.5 their average. And that number is going to go up tonight unless the Pioneers can get an onslaught going here offensively over the final 7:15. That puck very nearly knocked down by Jake Derflinger in the offensive end. Derflinger laying the wood to Mackay, the captain. This has been a free-flowing third period. There's been a lot of contact as well. Griffin Mendel unable to keep control of it. Backhands it along the boards. Slides it out to the far side wall. Colin Staub picks it up there. Luco bumped off the puck. Here comes Staub. In one-on-one against Anderson. Trying to slide around for that wraparound again. Couldn't center it in front, but he was looking for Cole Gutman there. Luco loses his stick. And this puck punched out of the zone by Kepke. Luco's got it back. Loses it in the neutral zone. Played there by Mike Anderson. Near side wall, Permitovich throws it across to the far side of the big guy Riley Tufte, and now a chance here and a shot and a save made by Cooley on the chance for Peter Krieger. And it caroms out of the zone. Devin Cooley once more. A terrific stop on a clear shooting angle for Peter Krieger that time.
Pioneers got caught on a long line change, and a couple of Pioneers collided at center ice, which helped to create that scoring chance. But again, Cooley able to hold his positioning and make that save. And, you know, Tyler, you think of last weekend, 2 4-3 games, and there's a lot of hockey left tonight, more than 6 minutes, 1-0 Denver leads. But I think a lot of Pioneer fans, especially early on with all the departures last year and a young team coming back, it was wondering, you know, the question was out there, is this rebuilding or are they going to be right there with the best of the best? And they had success early, but you weren't sure if some of that might have been opponent a little bit, if it was just early season success. Well, they've gone toe-to-toe with the top two teams in the country the last 2+ games.
Tyler Ward streaking in with Cohen Olszewski. Ward's shot is off of the blocker of Shepard and redirected off the glass. I think that's a great point, Charlie. We talked about that during the Western Michigan series, how much the next 3 weeks from that series were going to tell us about this team. And I think maybe subconsciously there's a little bit of that when you're on that roster for Denver, yeah, you know your team is good, but you haven't really faced the caliber of opponent that you want to measure yourself against quite yet. Last week, a couple of one-goal losses at number 2, and tonight, a battle with the number 1 team in the country. Played ahead there by Nick Wolf. Ricocheted off the stick of a teammate. Jake Derflinger pounds it off the glass and down into the zone. Played up ahead for Tanner Latteroo. Eric Fear will chase it in behind the goal. And Fear swings it around and back out. Slava Demon's got it off of his skate. Nearly turned it over there for Latteroo, but he's able to get to it.
Ian Mitchell talked about it during the interview. Just smart plays at the blue lines in this third period. And right now, DU's just content to gain zones. Pucks in their own end, get it to the neutral zone. If it's in the neutral zone, get it deep into the Bulldog zone.
Gutman in the corner. Wheels around, got away from a couple of Bulldogs. Throws it to Olszewski, whose shot stays up high, and a save made by Shepard. Colin Olszewski came out of nowhere in a great feed to get that puck to him. And it's cleared out by the Bulldogs. 4 minutes and 10 seconds left. Denver now getting close to doubling its shot output from the first 2 periods in this period alone. 8 coming into this period, 13 now. So at least climbing in that direction, maybe not getting super close. Streaking up ice, Liam Finley. Finley finds his way in, dumps it down, swings around the boards. Barrow pokes it back behind the goal. McClellan pinning a Bulldog there. Slipped out, Finley with the baseball swing. Couldn't keep it in the neutral zone. Tracked down by Koepke in the far side corner. He's ridden into the boards, and Denver takes it away. Here comes Ryan Barrow. He'll chip it in and chase it down in behind the goal. Pinned up there by Mike Anderson. Then when Sandberg tried to get it forward, losing his footing was Krieger. That creates an opportunity for Staub, but closed off quickly there by the Bulldogs. 3:05 to go now here in this period. Mendel from the point. Dumps it down in. Chase to the corner, McClellan. Derflinger over there as well. Battled out. Riley Tufte takes it away. Tufte and Mackay. Tufte takes the shot from the far side. And laser beams that one wide of Cooley. And it rattles back down in once more behind Shepard. Precious moments taken away for this UMD team, which has been unable to solve Devin Cooley to this point. Krieger leaves it for Perunovic. Shot, save made by Cooley out in front, and it's cleared away. Rebound far side, Perunovic has got it. Throws it to Wolf near the blue line. Wolf from the point will backhand it down low. Picked up there, a look for Nick Swaney, who was trying to center it. And Michael Davies throws it up and out of the zone and out of play as well. Another good chance for UMD and another terrific save by Devin Cooley with 2:13 to go. Play stopped again.
Just thinking there, Tyler, that we haven't really said Perunovic's name all that often. Tonight he led that rush, and then he got the puck on a drop pass, and he was at the top of the circles with all sorts of time, and he just missed. It was a brilliant rush by the sophomore defenseman to create that scoring chance for Duluth.
Last year, an All-American first-team member, the first UMD player named to that honor since Murray Kogan did it in the 1969-1970 season. And NCHC Rookie of the Year honors, NCHC Offensive Defenseman of the Year honors. And Perunovic, he does just kind of have that air about him when he collects the puck, as UMD is going to go for the extra skater with 1:57 to go. And a timeout taken by the Pioneers.
And you're right about Perunovic, right? There's just certain players, number 7 for Minnesota Duluth, where when the puck ends up on his stick, it almost looks like it's glued on. He can just whip the stick and the puck around any which way he wants to, and it just has a different feel about it. Both teams drawing up their plays, their respective plays. Coach Sandelin wants to get pucks and bodies to the net. For Denver, you're going to be down a man in terms of the pulled goalie. You want the odd man to be up high and keep it even down low in front of Devin Cooley.
These two teams, a couple of top 10 teams on the national landscape. You see Denver's opponent from last week, St. Cloud State, sticking at number 2 behind this Minnesota Duluth team, the reigning national champs, riding an 8-game winning streak coming into tonight. Denver back there at number 7 after that sweep on the road at St. Cloud.
And next weekend's opponent, of course, it's these same two teams tomorrow night, right here on Altitude 2. And then next weekend, the Providence Friars, who are currently 9th in the nation, will come to town for a non-conference series against Denver.
First meeting in a handful of years for the Pioneers and the Friars on the ice. A couple of Big East Conference foes on the lacrosse side. It was Denver Athletic Department, familiar with Providence in that capacity, but haven't seen the Friars here at Magnus Arena for quite some time. That last meeting, I think 2013-2014 season, was in Providence. It's been a little while since I've seen the black and white of Providence here in Denver. Played out of the zone, a nice job as this puck is trickling toward an empty net, and a diving job by Perunovic to knock it away before it crossed the goal line. What an effort by Scott Perunovic in pursuit of that puck, which was ticketed for the back of the net. That Karam, you couldn't throw that any better. That was like a pool shot.
Game-saving effort there by Perunovic. Interesting here because the defense knocked the net off. They're not allowed to make a line change, but they are allowed to put their goaltender back into the net. So Hunter Shepard back between the pipes, and because the goal was knocked off by Perunovic, which he had no choice, clearly, with all of his momentum going to the net to keep the puck out of the net, face-off inside the zone.
Hagenin wins it back to Mendel. Griffin dumps it down in low. Perunovic, he is everywhere over the last few minutes of this third period. Does that guy ever get off the ice? Doesn't he need to breathe at some point? Mackay played it across, slid it there to Swaney. Down in behind Cooley. Goalie off again for the Bulldogs. Extra skater on for UMD. A crowd in the far side corner. Played around to the near side by Griffin Mendel. There's Perunovic once more against the near side boards. He comes away with it. Krieger throws it across. Shot! Never got on goal from Tufte. And the rebound ricochets into the far side corner. Now it's out to Krieger again. Top of the slot. Save made by Cooley. And he hangs on with 1:09 to go.
DU had a couple of chances where they maybe could have gained the zone and gotten the puck to the neutral zone. Weren't able to do it, and that allowed that last chance by the senior, Peter Krieger. Cooley able to save it, see it all the way and make the save.
Jackson Cates to take the face-off for UMD against Tyson McClellan. And again, that yawning empty net down ice. This puck trickling that direction. It doesn't look on line, and it's going to dribble right past it. And an icing call with 1:02 to go. If this score holds, this is an infuriating loss of your UMD. To go out, throw up a 25 shot on goal differential, 38-13 right now. And if you end up dropping a 1-0 game, this is one of those games that just leaves you scratching your head.
And we get the advantage of seeing the shot chart. These have not been perimeter shots. It's not as though they haven't been able to get to the front of the net. They really have with fairly good frequency, but Devin Cooley and the Pioneers thus far up to the task.
And it's now time for tonight's Honey Smoked Salmon High Energy Player of the Game. No surprise here.
He has been good, and that's an understatement. Devin Cooley continues to gain confidence. He's been at the top of his crease. He's done a great job controlling rebounds, and he's made a few of those game-saving type saves when his team has needed it most. Those two right there came back-to-back. This one from Swaney was on the power play in the second period, right after that breakaway chance a few moments earlier. Devin Cooley, our honey smoked salmon player of the game.
Devin came into the night tonight with 204 saves. So he's very nearly got 20% of his save total for the season tonight. He's made 38. Save percentage at .919, entering the night at 2.24 goals against average.
Kind of interesting on that timeout that Cooley opted not to go to the bench. Oftentimes a goalie's going to go to the bench, they'll grab some water, maybe grab a towel. Cooley never left his net.
When you're in the zone, you're in the zone, I guess.
I think so.
Devin Cooley has been a force tonight, and 62 seconds stand between him and a shutout win. UMD with 6 skaters out there trying to change that right here. Thrown in behind the goal. Tufte tried to corral it toward the near side post. Dribbles free. Denver trying to clear the zone. Colin Staub finally able to do so as he plays it out and down ice. But an icing call here. Staub had a chance to leave the zone with the puck and just couldn't do so. Poked off of his route before he exited. About 8 seconds before this stop at the 45-second mark. Puck down, played out to the point. Perunovic has it poked away from him. Luko collects it, throws it into the goal! What? How on earth does Jared Luko Savages keep doing this to the Minnesota Duluth Bulldogs?
First the poke check, going down to his knees, and then it's just sheer will. Lucas Savages, some way, somehow, being draped by Perunovic, says he's going to get the shot off, and he does. And he puts it right in the heart of the net.
8th goal of the season, 13th point of the season for the senior from Squamish, British Columbia. And the Denver Pioneers are 22 seconds away from knocking off the #1 team in the country here on night #1 of a 2-night NCHC series. Anderson picks it up behind his own goal. That student section is lit right now, as I think everybody in this crowd was on pins and needles, no more. Our final score in this one, the 7th-ranked Pioneers behind 38-6.